October 5th. Loddy and Mac Sports on the SAC, on the cul-de-sac, SAC Sports Network. Follow us on Twitter, Mac Sports Loddy. Let me repeat that. Loddy Mac Sports. Loddy Mac Sports. I think we have one tweet out there. It might be like getting people to try to watch one of the episodes or listen. We got to step up the media game, but we're going to get there. Just like the Yanks are going to get there. Second seed in the AL.
Bring it.
Loddy's here. Bobby Mac's here. Angry Jay is here.
Debut.
The pod squad is really mounting up here. And, of course, was it Tessio or Clemenza? The Don Father's here.
That's why everybody's tuning in.
Yanks are ready. We're going to take a couple days off. Judgy last night, 62. Beat Maris, 61. Who beat Ruth, 60. Yanks got pretty much a stranglehold on that whole home run record, but we're not out to win home run records. That's for other teams. We win championships, and everybody knows it. Where are the sicko signs and the hats and the T-shirts? Where are all these like the Red Sox hats with like they're dirty? They've been wearing them for years. They've got so much pain, and then all of a sudden that's all you see. Red Sox, Red Sox, Red Sox. I don't see any of them. I don't hear from any of them. They don't care about Bogarts. Freaking sick of these guys. It's October. It's Yankee time. Loddy, did you watch Judge last night?
I watched the Judgy. I watched Judge do his thing, like you said, number 62. I was thrilled for him. Obviously, I don't know him personally, but he just seems like he wants to deflect all attention, and he seemed to be a little bit uncomfortable the last couple of weeks with the spotlight. But like always, he came through. He carried the team second half of August, all through September when they were scuttering. Remember, Tampa was only 2 back in the loss column at one point in September. But somehow, some way, Yanks are starting to get healthy offensively. Bullpen is completely up in the air.
Wasn't me.
That wasn't you. Bullpen's completely up in the air, but they got 99 wins. Jay, I mean, we're ready to go October 11th, right around the corner.
I'm pumped. You guys were speaking of Aaron Judge on your first couple of podcasts. Couldn't be more happy for him. Unbelievable accomplishment. We had mentioned that it's not the all-time home run record, which is fine.
Roger Maris Jr. might beg to differ.
Roger Maris Jr. will definitely doesn't believe it. But the 62, it's clean. Let's not count it. And it's also an American League record. Doing it in New York is, it's such a huge accomplishment. And like Mac had said, with Ruth, Maris, and now Judge, awesome. Can't wait for Tuesday. Looking forward to see who is actually on the Yankee roster. I know you guys have covered that, but that could change daily. As who comes down with an illness. Is Glaber playing, by the way? Do we know that yet?
The flu.
Yeah, tummy ache.
Yeah. So,
Donnie was rubbing his tummy with some salts or something. He's good.
Looking forward to Tuesday. Postseason baseball, nothing better.
Hey, they did what they needed to do, 21-11 since September 1st. Torres was a big reason why, let's be honest. He's had a couple of tough years. Started out strong this year. Basically took 2 months off in the middle of the season. I don't even think he batted 200. But Rizzo getting healthy. Torres getting hot. Cabrera out in left field. I know he's a favorite of all of ours. Bader bringing energy in center field and getting some big hits with 2 outs and taking the ball to right center. I think the offense is becoming a little bit more complete and more well-balanced. The key thing now is we got to get these bullpen guys healthy.
Who'd you say was getting hot?
Torres.
You know who's always hot?
Cash.
All right. So, Glaber, we talked earlier in the year, Loddy. Angry Jay, too. Angry Jay by phone. Loddy and I mowed the lawn at the same time, so we're out there outside getting a chance to talk Yankee baseball from the time we get up till the time we go to bed if we choose. But remember I was trying to tell you I love, what Boone and Glaber are doing. They're hitting behind runners and hitting and running and bunting, sacrifice bunting. I know, kind of cheesy, this safety squeeze. I think we did it once this year, which I think is kind of crap. Like, it's like the cheesier way to actually suicide squeeze. But, like, if executed correctly, it's going to work. Anyway, the Yankees were doing this stuff. Glaber was a part of that. And I told you early on, I love what
Yeah,
they're
you
doing.
did.
And you're like, yeah, calm down, calm down. I haven't seen a hit and run or a bunt in months. What do you think about that, Angry Jay or Loddy?
Well, they were stealing a lot of bags. They were hitting and running, hitting behind the base runner, a couple bunts early. I want to just get back to Torres real quick because you brought it up, Bobby Mack, early in the year, how proud you were of him in April and May. Wasn't trying to pull everything, taking the ball to right center, take what the pitcher gives you. He got away from that completely in the middle of the season. And then the transformation as of late got back to that a little bit more. The power surge, definitely more comfortable at second base than he was at shortstop. But I think their resurgence coincided with him playing well and taking a little bit of pressure off a Judge.
Oh, tough to argue with that.
Yeah, he's been
Angry.
He's been terrific of late. Going back to like hitting and running and stealing. Like they're actually playing baseball this year.
April, May, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing instead of watching the slow pitch softball team they put together for the last half a dozen years.
I just wish they kept doing it, though. You know, like that seemed like an early season thing to get them going, and then all of a sudden, Homer.
Math, you said math department.
Cabrera's athleticism has lended itself nicely to kind of balance the roster a little bit. Hopefully, Boone keeps the pressure on the defenses come October, and they don't, because you're not going to sit back and wait for home runs against elite pitching, right? Everybody's pitching their top three pitchers, and you're bringing in guys in the 7th, 8th, and 9th that all throw close to 100. You got to get guys on base and make things happen. That is the key to the Yankee offseason.
Speaking of guys throwing 100, let's talk about this bullpen. I think we know the roster guys that are going to be there, and we're banking on Carpenter joining them. We're not sold on Benintendi unless we could get a series under our belt. How about these pitchers? And I think the main thing for me, guys, Marinaccio just went down. We're waiting on Wandy. There's not a ton of other issues. Britton is now done for the year. Like, were you guys holding your breath for that? I mean, I think he strained a lat by holding his right elbow way up into the air while taking a sign, which is the stupidest looking thing. But it was that and Kimbrel. What is Kimbrel doing? Like leaning over with his arm. He looks not human doing that. And like when he's not giving up hits and being like untouchable, that's one thing. He's kind of human now. He looks like an idiot. But like, guys, Chappie, what are we doing?
Well,
is that the guy?
Jay, let's talk a little bit quickly. They play on the 11th. They play on the 13th. They play on the 15th. They have to decide whether they're going to keep 3 or 4 starters. If they keep 3 starters, now you got 9 guys in the bullpen. Maybe Chappie gets a sniff there. If they go 4 starters with Tyone, I think Chappie gets left off because eventually Wandy's going to be healthy. He'll be ready to go. Again, this next week of no games is going to be huge. Licky, I don't know how many lefties you need. I think 2 is enough. The question mark's going to be Marinaccio. All reports say he's not coming back to the ALCS if they get there. Abreu and Castro, are they in play? I mean, who the heck knows? But Efros, Loizinga, Licky, Trevino, Holmes, I think are givens. I think the 2 wild cards that are really going to help them in terms of big innings like Ramiro Mendoza used to be, Jay, Herman and Schmidt. What do you think?
Oh, I'll agree with you there. I think Herman's their long guy. Is that set in stone, by the way, the 11th, 13th, 15th?
Yeah.
So there's a day off between games 1 and 2.
And then after the 15th, I think they go 11th, 13th, 15th, 16th, 17th.
Hold on. We got a day off in between all of them?
A day off in between game 1 and 2, and a day off in between 2 and 3.
16 pitchers. Go ahead. Angry. Go ahead.
So the Yankees will go with 4 starters. This is what they do. Like, I don't think they need it. The question is, who would be the third? Would it be Tyone or would it be Severino? Though, to me, it would be Severino. Mm-hmm. Talking bullpen, you guys are not in love with Chapman. I mean, I'm not a fan of him either. You want to talk about a wasted amount of money. He's going to be on the roster. Whether you guys like it. Like, Chapman is not pulling the plug and not having him on the roster.
You might be right because they've been pitching him lately.
Yeah, and he pitched the other day. He got a 1-2-3, which is a borderline small miracle. And the first thing Cashman said in his presser was, he liked the way he threw. That definitely improves his chances for making the roster. He's the highest paid closer in Major League Baseball, by the way, and he's our seventh inning man
Seventh
or
inning.
whatever. But
bridge guy.
Wandy has to be on the roster if he's healthy enough. And I would imagine Chapman is going to be another lefty. Do they keep Buki? That's another.
Jeez, I'd rather have Gardner up there. Jay, so it gets getting colder. With Chapman, the amount that Chapman sweats,
He'll be sweating.
is there any chance the sweat freezes and we got a one of a kind playoff issue we've never had before? We've had bugs attacking a guy. What if the guy freezes out in the mound from the perspiration? Honestly, what do we do? What would Billy do?
Billy wouldn't have him out there.
Tastes great.
But, yeah, Billy
You wouldn't
would-
have Reggie Jackson in right field either.
Tastes great.
Hey,
less filling.
remember in '96, real quick. I know bullpens are so fluid. Some years they're well. Some years they do well. Some years they don't. '96 we had Mo and Wetland, Staples. You know who else? Nelson was. We weren't sure. Bowringer, Meadows, Graham Lloyd. All those guys got big outs in the playoffs. So there's guys that we're not even talking about that are going to step up, or if no one steps up, then we go home early.
I have a question for you guys. Is Holmes the closer? Do we know that?
I think
or,
Loizinga is going to be a closer.
all right, so we're not even sure. We're just it's going to be game by game.
Holmes is supposed to be back for the ALDS, but with his back, who knows? He hasn't pitched a lot lately. He's been sporadic even when he's been out there. It seems like Boone, if there is a comfort level, probably Loizinga. Do you see that too?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
We're
That's why I'm
Devil
asking you.
Rays North right now. I think they're playing
Yeah.
the hot hand and the situation and the outs and all that stuff. Because the Devil Rays never seem to have like a set closer, unless it's the guy with the crooked hat. I forgot his name, but like the one who shoots the arrow into the
was that Peralta? Who was
No,
that?
no. That's Rodney.
Oh, Rodney.
Yeah,
Or
like-
Fernando.
Rodney.
Yeah, I think we're just going to play it by ear and be Devil Rays North because, they've done some interesting stuff in baseball, and now we think that it's a science. And we've really lost sight of the fact it's a freaking sport. It's not a science. The guys got to go out and play better than the other guys. And I'm so sick of this scientific approach to everything.
And that's
anyway,
why I think Herman and Schmidt are going to be huge. I really do.
I just hope Chappie doesn't freeze. Guys, we're moving on to the next segment. And this is the Stay Hot Cash. This is the Stay Hot Cash moment of the week. And for a little variety, we're not going to go draft picks, trade, signing, and just beat them up. We're going to go in another direction. We're going to talk about the Japanese player market. We're going to talk about how Cash is done. And he hasn't done awfully. And we're going to start with an obvious one. From the land of the rising sun, Hideki Matsui. Loddy, what do you
Wow.
think of Hideki?
Underrated Yankee. I even sometimes forget that he played as long as he did with us. And if it's any indication what kind of teammate he was, Jeter speaks so highly of this guy. So he came over to the Yanks in 2003. You guys know his contract? 3 years for $21 million.
Sign me up.
What would that guy get in today's market?
Can we give him more?
It would be off the charts, right? It would be in the $20 million range, but 3 for 21. Played a fantastic left field. I was always comfortable when he came up to bat. The balance in the lineup, clutch hits, driving the ball to the gaps. Again, from a standpoint of clubhouse chemistry over the length of a 162-game schedule, everybody loved him. They rave about him. We all remember 2009.
Didn't exactly have a hose. Go ahead.
But he made every play out in left field.
More of a super soaker. Go ahead.
Super Soaker? All right. 8 for 13 in the 2009 World Series. And we all remember Game 6 where he had 6 RBIs. I specifically remember 03 when he hit the double down the line against Pedro, when Pedro should have been out of that game. Thank God he was still in.
Grady.
That was the next. That was when he went to the mound, right?
Yeah,
Grady
he
Little
went to the
after
mound.
double.
I think the stadium crowd was shocked that he was leaving in it. I'm watching the game. I'm like,
He
the
raked
guy's
it,
got
too.
he's got
He
nothing.
raked it.
He had nothing left. He was throwing
raked it.
slop up there. Matsui pulled it to right field, went into the stands. Then we had the Posada stuff, so forth and so on. Booney. But I love Matsui. Again, I thought he was underrated. With the Yanks, 03 to 09, played 7 years. But you guys remember the teams that he played with after 09? It's crazy. I remember the Angels signing him, but 2 other teams too, Oakland and Tampa Bay.
I remember the first 2, Tampa Bay.
I
don't
actually
remember
only
all.
remember the Tampa Bay one because I do remember they had a little something for him at the stadium, I believe.
Yeah, Angels gave him a $6 million contract for a year, and when they asked,
He got his ring with an Angel uniform on.
that's right.
He did.
When he came back to the stadium,
That's right.
they brought it out, and the Yankees had, according to stuff that was said at the time, they had no interest. There was no indication that they wanted to re-sign him after 2009. Obviously he was a little bit older, but a great Yankee for 7 years, extremely underrated. I thought it was a great signing. I don't want to give Cashman too much credit, but I thought it was a great signing. It didn't take a lot of work, right? It was they threw money at him. He wanted to come to New York. It was a no-brainer. But in the end, helped us to the 2009 World Series, and we haven't sniffed it since.
Yeah, so he was, to me, a phenomenal Yankee. Loddy mentioned Captain Clutch to me. He was somebody I wanted up late in games. And we mentioned the double against Pedro. It was also Pedro Game 6 that he was mashing with the Phillies. Big spot. Like he had that home run, and he had the 2-run double that he hit off the wall in the right center. To me, he was perfect for what the Yankees needed. Middle of the lineup guy. At 290, 300 hitter. Mm-hmm. He came over as supposed to be a slugger, and he was just a baseball player and a darn good one. And I loved Matt. So he believe he came over like he was 27, 28 years old. So he was getting close to mid-30s.
Well, that's why he didn't win Rookie of the Year, if you remember. The reporters thought he was too old, and he wasn't considered a rookie, and he was a professional. Who was the Rookie of the Year?
It's great.
Angel Baroa.
Oh, God.
All right, thanks for coming.
And then
What a career.
Ichiro came over later, right? Or was he before?
He was a little bit before.
Yeah, a little before. But he had
Yep.
won the Rookie of the Year and the MVP.
Right, and that was the controversy.
Yeah, so is that just the Yankee hatred?
Could have been that bias with the media.
He won something
Absolutely.
else, Ichiro, too, the same year. There were 3 things he won that first year. Batting title.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Why couldn't we get him?
Yeah, he was
Come
all
on,
right.
Cash.
Ichiro,
We can't get Ichiro?
he was decent. He was okay.
He was
we
okay.
got him when he was like 100. By the way, I'd still take him.
I'd take
He'd
him
be
now.
batting leadoff for the
Freaking love the
Yanks.
He'd want to play 162.
You know how you said you'd like Heideki up in late game situations? You know who I want up now in late game? Donaldson. Just kidding.
Oh my Lord! Wow, it must be really late, and you haven't slept in a while. That's bad.
95 down the middle, nowhere near it.
He falls down when he swings.
All right, real quick, and I mean real quick, guys. Tanaka. What do you feel about Tanaka? Oh, by the way, that's a one cha-ching. Stay hot for Cash.
I agree.
Because he's good.
Great
He was good.
great
That's how
signing.
he was great. Go
I
ahead.
thought Tanaka was a decent signing. Came over in 2014, pitched 7 years with the Yanks. Injuries after the first 2.5 months with the Yanks. You get the UCL and the lingering problems throughout his career. Again, a little bit overrated for me because of the endurance factor, especially in the playoffs. He had 10 starts, and his average start was between 5 and 6 innings. Strikeout, 1 strikeout per inning pitched. Nice player on the Yankees. I don't know if he ever turned into the ace per se. I thought his first couple of years obviously were better than his last few. I didn't love him. Again, I thought he was hyped up a little bit. What do you think, Jay?
He came over, I believe, he was 24-0 in Japan, right? Mm-hmm. Undefeated season on the bump. 78-46, I think, career record.
Yep.
His first 3 years with the Yankees were very good. He was, by today's standards, he'd be a horse for what he was doing. But again, I'll second what Loddy said. He is a little bit overrated as far as Yankee standards. Like, he pitched in big games. He was pretty good, but again, he was a 4 or 5 inning guy, especially in the last few years. I mean, he turned into just like 4 inning Phil. I mean, Tanaka was going 5, and we were paying him big bucks.
I think $25 million a year, 22 to 25, something
Just
crazy like that.
Want a little more out of my ace. Is all I'm getting at.
He's no Garrett Cole.
Angry Jay. Loddy. Listen, Garrett Cole. They just gave him last night. He got the strikeout
You
record.
knew he wasn't going to pitch well after Judge hit that home run, right?
Oh yeah, he started
There was too much of a delay.
Yeah. Trevino threw behind the guy to bail him out of one inning. See that at third base?
It was a heck of a throw.
It was. And Joshy, our clutch hitter, was right there answering the call, but applying the tag. No, he's terrible. So here's the thing. What I was going to say is they just presented Cole last night with a Yankee emblazoned pinstripe neck brace for the postseason. No,
For his whiplash?
yeah. So
Just broke
here's
the
thing about
Gators record,
Tanaka.
too, unfortunately.
I don't think Tanaka ever looked like he was ready to hand that ball off. Tanaka looked like he wanted to keep going no matter what. That's the Yankee way. He reached a certain pitch count on the clicker. He's out of there. I don't think he's four-inning Phil like you guys. Like, I kind of like looking at who's pitching in the week and seeing when Tanaka's pitching and say, we got a shot to, have a, low runs into the fifth, sixth, I mean, he gave up a bomb here and there, but, like, compared to the other guys, kidding me? Speaking of the other guys, by the way, that's a 2 cha-ching for Tanaka.
My
He was
lasting
okay.
thing on Tanaka when he came over, correct me if I'm wrong, power pitcher. He kind of reinvented himself, obviously,
Is that
because
true?
of
Yeah, he was.
because
he was
of the
supposed to be splitter.
Yeah, because of
On this continent.
because of the injuries and the age. Kind of like Pettit, he reinvented himself in and out,
CC.
up and down. CC, exactly. I give him credit for adjusting what he was doing, but again, for me, I don't think he lived up to the contract, and he didn't deliver as a so-called ace. He didn't deliver us to the promised land.
Mike, are you saying more than 2 cha-chings for Tanaka?
No, I'm going to stay with 2.
Stay hot, Cash is angry?
I'll go 2. He was good in spots.
All right, little segue here. We're trying to finish up the Japanese run, but like real quick, I saw today an article. CC celebrating his 7th year of sobriety today with his family. Looked like they're in Yellowstone or something like that. Good for CC, doing well. I questioned him after saying he wasn't sure about Judge and Ohtani. I questioned whether he was going down to a dark place again, but proud of CC. Also, last night, I believe 32 years ago last night, or maybe more, Angry Jay?
32
night-
years ago.
Is that the night you and your college and high school teammate caught Cecil Fielder's 50th home run?
1990?
It was October 3rd, I believe.
Oh, so 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
You were at that game?
So
At the
they're-
game, him
they're-
and his buddy caught the home run.
You guys saw the Ranger
Harky.
the Ranger fan jumped out of the stands,
Yeah.
like down to the lower section.
That was you.
Yeah. So
I
I'll
just stayed.
make it a short story. We went 3 nights in a row. The Yankees, and it was the early
For
90
that
Yankees.
purpose?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
The only reason it was an hour from school. We bought left field seats every night. There was literally 10 to 15,000. I mean, Oscar Azokar was batting third, so come on. So the last
Hall,
game they hit Fielder second, and Steve Atkins was on the mound. You guys remember that?
When you said they, you mean Jim Leland?
No, that was Sparky Anderson.
Sparky was still
Got him
coaching,
the
yeah,
extra
1990
AB.
definitely.
Yeah,
Sparky
so-
got him an extra AB.
So batting second, and he hit a missile off of Steve Atkins, who was supposed to be some great Yankee prospect, who turned out to be Clint Frazier or something like that. So ball hit in the upper deck where nobody was sitting, bounced down, and we went 3 nights in a row, so we actually had planned it out in the old Yankee Stadium. They had moved the fences in like a few years before, so there was like a little walkway area where you can go to Monument Park. And so we had said, hey, if it lands down there, we're going to jump down. So it hit in the upper deck, came down, and some bum, like we're literally, like he just dropped it. Like came down, bounced right out of his hands and went down in the lower sections. Me, Harky, Harky, and some other guy all jumped down. Harky had a few steps on the guy. As we were all sprinting for the ball, I just kind of made a small tackle, I guess, on the guy so Harky can get it. Harky grabbed it. The problem was we couldn't get back up in the seats. So we had fans like literally reaching down, pulling us up in the seats. It was unbelievable. Like Harky signed, I'm not kidding you, 100 autographs in left field.
What'd you guys get for that?
It was funny you say that because there was a bunch of Detroit people there, like people had flown out, and 50 was a big deal then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
huge.
It was
Hadn't
first
happened
one
in a while.
George Foster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
George Foster a Red at that
Yes.
point?
Yeah. I think he had 52.
77 or 78.
Late
he did.
70s, yeah.
Yeah. So he, it was unbelievable, really. Like he signed autographs for 2 innings, and he I said short story. So we end up going down to the bowels of Yankee Stadium. They're having a press conference, and I'm sitting in the back, and my buddy's up there at a podium with Cecil Fielder. He got a
ripped
bat.
Western Connecticut sweatshirt.
He got a bat, a ball, and a signed autograph from Fielder. That was it. And the funny thing is, there was a little kid sitting next to me who was bigger than me. Like, he had to be like 8, 10 years old, and I was 20. You guys got any idea who that was?
His son.
Kid.
One Prince Fielder who was literally bigger than me.
Get out of here.
Yeah, unbelievable.
That's a great
Should
story.
have kept the ball, Jay.
Yeah, he should have.
Angry Jay. All right, moving on.
Oh,
Keigawa.
boy. Do we have to? Well,
Yeah.
I got to make this quick because it's not really worth talking about him. He had 16 starts over 2 years, and the Yankees paid 4 years, $46 million for him. That was basically a knee-jerk reaction. In 2002, Yankees got Contreras, who the Red Sox really wanted, Jose Contreras. Red Sox, they trumped the Yanks by getting Dice K. Yanks wanted a rebuttal to that. They overpaid for Agawa. This is a guy that wore sunglasses during day games, if you guys remember, because he pitched better at night. So when the 1 o'clock start at the stade started, he wanted to think he was pitching at night. It didn't help him.
Corey Hart.
He ended up being the highest paid minor league player of all time. It was a 4-year, I'd say $12 million per. Again, 16 starts to almost a 7 ERA. I mean, you put Pavano, the Kevin Browns, those type of signings. This trumps them all. This was an embarrassing cash move. And he even admitted it years later. He completely dropped the ball and he panicked because of the Red Sox getting Dice K.
Dice K was the guy with the gyro ball. Was that the guy? Yeah.
They had another one at the same time, another Japanese pitcher, Okajima. Wasn't he at the same time? The lefty reliever?
Lefty reliever.
But go ahead.
Guile? Oh my God! There's nothing else to say. When Loddy covered it, he was a train wreck. Like the sunglasses, I should have put them on so I didn't have to watch.
You ever see him in the minor leagues, Jay?
Yeah, I saw him in the minor leagues one time, and they broadcast a game on Yes Network, and it was the Columbus Clippers, and none other than our guy Keigawa was coaching first base for $12 million a year in AAA.
Did he have sunglasses on?
He had sunglasses on, but he did not have the helmet. He was just straight hat at that point. They didn't have to wear the helmet.
Young listeners, YouTube or Google Corey Hart. I wear my sunglasses at night. Anyway, Keigawa out of 5 Cashman.
Bring it up.
Oh, that's a 5.
All
That's
5.
5 cha-ching.
Yeah.
What a
Awful.
loser wearing sunglasses on the mound.
I never
It's
even
bad
heard of
enough-
the guy.
It's bad enough these young kids get in the batter's box now with their sunglasses on in the batter's box. Like they don't need better vision. You know, these young
Turbo
kids
wore
bother me so
sunglasses.
much. The new thing, guys, you don't know this. You don't see it every day. They get into the batter's box with this humongous oven mitt in their right pants pocket. When they get to first, they spend 3 pitches fastening their sliding mitt. It's called a sliding mitt. No joke. Look it up. And then they slide feet first.
This is what's going on at the youth level?
Oh, they have to have all the gear. You know, you're not good if you don't have all the gear. So they got, the arm guard, the toe guard, the elbow. I mean, they got it all.
Sunglasses on top of the hat.
I
Yep.
have seen the arm guard on high school kids.
We played a travel game this past summer, and the second baseman for a Connecticut travel team had sunglasses on his face, one on the top of his visor, and another pair going off the back of his hat. In the field, 3 pairs of sunglasses.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Quick story about Heideki Arabo. This is another 6-star out of 5 cash signing. $12.8 million for 4, which doesn't sound that bad. But again, this guy came over like he was going to be our guy, our starter. Looking at his stats in Japan, he never started a game in Japan. He was a reliever all of his time except for 1 year when he was the last reliever, the closer. So we get him, and he's the starter. And he has temper tantrums on the mound. He's kicking the mound like he's going to be like he's a bull charging its prey. He showed up at Yankee Stadium the first time he was called up from Columbus with 2 Egg McMuffins, 2 tins of dip, and a pack of Marlboros. True story. And I just wish, Cash, we could get that stuff back and hand it out to the
better
fans.
than Mantle's breakfast at Champions, I'm sure.
Good, true story. Angry Jay, you ever remember Arabo having a problem with a batter?
Yeah. You guys don't remember the Shannon Stewart? Like, Arabo couldn't get anybody out, so one good thing he did do is Toronto had hit somebody on the Yankees. I don't remember who it was, but he got Shannon Stewart back, hit him in the middle of the back on the first pitch in an inning, and he was the first and the only. Actually, Kyle Farnsworth kind of came close one time, but his first and only pitcher I remember actually charged the batter's box. It was pretty impressive. Couldn't get anybody out, so he might as well fight him.
Now that you bring that up, I remember it too because he charged and then stopped and waited for everybody to get in between him.
I think Steinbrenner
Middle
loved
school.
Arabo. He loved him.
What was his nickname for him?
Fat Toad, I think.
It was.
It was the Fat Toad.
It was. Georgie. He doesn't like being wrong, Georgie. All right. Last thing about the Japanese pitchers, which Cash gets, or Japanese players, excuse me. We had a pitcher named Kitsuhiro Maeda, and I remember reading about this guy. Angry Jay knows this. Like, I thought he was going to be the savior. They called him the Dennis Rodman of baseball. They signed him. He had orange hair. A few years into the minor leagues, purple hair. Never came close to the stadium. Another bum. There's a few other ones. Read about some other ones. I remember hearing some of the other names. Bottom line, with the Japanese player pool outside of Matsui, what do you guys have to say about Cashman's performance with the Japanese?
Stay hot. It's very hit and miss.
Cash. I'm not a cat. You guys know me.
Stay hot, Cash.
Stay hot, Cash.
Okay, talking about a couple Dominican second basemen now. This is a new segment. Who would you rather? Derek Jeter spent all those years from 96 to whenever it was, 17? What was it, 17?
Yep.
With a million different middle infield partners, starting
16,
with
I
the
think.
great Mariana Duncan with the slogan on his T-shirt, "We played today, we win today, that's it." And I loved him. We didn't have him for long enough. But then we had a bunch of bums like Brian Roberts and the like, Tony Womack, after he broke our hearts. Two of the best he's had, Alfonso Soriano, Robinson Cano. We're in the Who Would You Rather segment. Loddy, who would you rather?
I'm going Cano. And again, people that know me, I'm not a huge Cano or Soriano guy, but since Cano left, Bobby alluded to it, Bobby Mack, Brian Roberts, Steven Drew, Kelly Johnson, Ref Snyder, Castro was okay for a while. We stabilized it recently with DJ and Torres. But I remember you said Tony Womack. They signed Tony Womack into the 2005 season when he batted over 300 for the Cardinals the year before when they lost to the Sox in the World Series. And then, again, broke our hearts in 01 with that double down the line. They gave him a contract. A month into the contract, at age 36, they realized their mistake. Bring up Cano, who was a heralded prospect, but you don't hear about him the way you hear about like a Volpe nowadays or a Jeter back then. And all he did when he came up in 05 until the time he left the Yanks in 2013 was hit. Lent balance to the lineup. Defensively was amazing. His lack of effort on, running down the first base line, I got a big issue with it. But I remember watching him in batting practice one day, and the ball just sounded different off his bat. I mean, it started out as a line drive, and it just kept raising up and up and up, and he was made for Yankee Stadium. They decided not to re-sign him in 2013. If they did, and the PED stuff didn't come to the forefront, I think he would have been a Hall of Famer. He was on that trajectory in terms of his extra base hits. Just from an average standpoint alone, 297, 342, 306, 271, 320, 319, 302, 313, and 314 his last year as a second baseman. Those numbers were unheard of with his power. As a Yankee, he had over 200 home runs 800 RBIs in those 9 seasons. It's just tough to duplicate that, and they really haven't since. Torres was supposed to be the next guy. He's hot and cold, but Cano would always put the ball in play, can hit lefties, was just a tough AB. So I'm going Cano.
Cranky, you agree with that?
So we're going Soriano, Cano. For me, this is tough. So both terrific players. Soriano only was 3 years with the Yankees, and he was the big guy in the A-Rod trade, right? Mm-hmm. So Soriano's 3 years with the Yanks were fantastic too. I believe he had a 39 and a 38 home run season. So stole bases too. Like he's
dynamic.
He's
dynamic.
A borderline Hall of Famer. I remember him with his 48-inch, 45-ounce bat that he used to use and swing at pitches in the other batter's box. But
Telephone pole.
Fantastic. Cano, to me, this is actually a great question. I used to love Cano's bat. He had that black bat with the ash handle. He's like a black beauty bat. And he, to me, was a phenomenal hitter. Like, there was no shift on Cano. He was a double machine. 40, he had a 50 double season, consistently 20 to 30 home runs. If I have to pick one of these guys, it's tough, but I would give the nod to Cano because he's a better fielder, a solid fielder, never won a Gold Glove, but a fantastic arm, just a better all-around hitter. Soriano had a little lightning in his bat, definitely had a little more pop. And ran. Cano didn't steal bases, but Cano, he was just a machine. He played every day. He played 160 games like every year. So I would give Cano just a nod. Both borderline Hall of Famers, and then Loddy said, without the PED use, he might have been a Hall of Famer for those numbers for a second baseman.
Well, I'm glad you guys said that because you're wrong. I got to go Soriano all day long. And Soriano with 16 major league seasons and Cano with 17. Soriano out home runs him by about 80. Also, Soriano 289 steals to Cano's loafing around.
He could run. You're right. He could run.
This guy is an athlete and a good sized athlete, 6'1" or 6'2". In 2009. 2002. I don't know who was the Hall of Fame in the American League, but 2002. You guys remember that? 209 hits, 39 homers, 102 RBIs, 41 steals, and he hit 300. I mean, this guy is a player.
Oh, he was fantastic with the Yankees.
He was fantastic otherwise. When he moves on to Texas and the Nationals and the Cubs, right? Is it the Cubs? 38 homers, 28, 36, 46, 33, 29. For a skinny second baseman turned left fielder. This is not a guy who was born to or made to take steroids and hit the ball in the ballpark. This is a wiry athlete who had crazy numbers, whose numbers are comparable or better than one Harold Baines, who's a Hall of Famer, and I love Harold Baines. I have a jersey of Harold Baines from the White Sox in my closet, and if Harold Baines in the Hall of Fame, Alfonso Soriano, no-brainer. No-brainer.
Remember the 2003 ALCS when he looked like Tardabo at bat?
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Sox low and awayed him the whole series.
Those were tough nights.
We won that series, though.
He did have a couple huge moments for the Yankees. The home run against the Mariners.
Guys, real quick. They both wore 2 numbers in the bulk of their career for the Yankees. In other words, they had a uniform switch. They had a couple call-up numbers, but for the main part of their careers, they both wore 2 different numbers, so they changed numbers. What do you got?
Cano was 24, I believe, when he came up, and then to 22, or is it vice versa?
I think it was vice versa once Tino left. Is that right?
Yeah, I think he was 22 when he
Clemens came too.
Soriano was definitely 33 and 12. I know that. I
don't remember.
I got to think about the Cano one.
Cano was definitely 24 and 22. I'm good with that. I have no idea with Soriano.
Yeah. So Alfonso donned Jose's number, Canseco, and Cano donned Rogers' number, 22.
You know what people forget?
He had 2 numbers also.
Soriano came back to us.
Oh, guess what?
That's right.
Oh, he
That's
did,
right. That's a great call. Yeah.
Hey, how about this? Clemens wore each of their numbers. He went with 21 because it was reverse of, or 12. It was a reverse of 21. Then he went with 22 because it's the closest we would let him without taking Paulie's number.
Yep.
Freaking Clemens, dude. I thought it was the ball. Get out of here. Welcome into Don Father as we transition to football. I want to have a quick wrap up to the Who Would You Rather segment. We're going to go around the horn, and I don't want you to elaborate. We're just going to go. We all agreed Soriano over Cano. Boggs or Mike Pagliarulo?
Boggs.
Boggsy and Waldman agrees.
Pags, number 13. Sox, Pedroia, Betts.
Petey.
Mookie.
Mookie all day.
I take Petey. Tough guy. I didn't like him, but tough guy. Mets, speaking of Petey, Big Pete Alonso or Mike Piazza?
Piazza.
I'll take the Panda.
Piazza as a catcher, those numbers, Piazza all day.
Piazza, too. And he dodged a bat, which the pitcher thought was a ball because he thought he was going to hit him with the ball in the World Series instead of throwing it first. Braves, Picka Jones, Chipper or Andrew?
Chipper.
You mean the team that just beat the Mets in the AL East, NL East? I'll take Chip.
That's why I brought him up, Loddy. All right. I'm taking Andrew because Chipper's definitely a steroid head with the size of that melon he has. And Andrew has over 400 home runs and 10 gold gloves.
How
I
are
don't wanna
Mets
hear it.
fans feeling? 100 wins? Wild card. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
Play
I
the
wish
Padres for the right to play the Dodgers.
I wish him the best of luck. Quarterbacks, as we're transitioning again to Tessio and Clemenza over here, to Don Father. Lamar or Herbert?
Herbert.
Lamar.
To win a fantasy game, probably Lamar. To get my franchise to the Super Bowl, Herbert. Running back, Saquon, Zeke. This one's easy.
Saquon.
Saquon healthy this year.
Feed him.
Saquon.
Feed him and don't sleep on him. Zeke's going to be back. Hill or Diggs?
Diggs.
I go Hill.
Diggs.
Dude, speed kills in the NFL, and it's a quarterback receiver league. I'm taking Tyreek.
Josh Allen, Diggs, not a good combination.
Tight end. Jeffy said don't play Andrews a couple weeks ago. So Andrews or Kelsey? Don Father.
Never said it, but Kelsey.
Kelsey.
You did kind of say it, and I started Andrews regardless of what you said, and I won that week. But Kelsey, not even close.
Kelsey all day. UConn hoops right around the corner. Ripper Ray. Just
Ray.
college career.
Just college.
Ray.
So we're going just college.
Just college.
Wow. Ray put him on the map, but I'm going Rip for the 99 title.
Yeah, flip a coin. God, Ray was so much fun to watch. And Rip's constant motion and movement led him to the 99 national championship. I'll take Rip just because of that by a hair.
It's way more than one word, by the way.
Relax.
I know, but I love those teams.
I got to take Ray Allen, Hall of Famer, man. Who would Kevin Garnett take?
You just said UConn career.
Yeah, you're changing.
Yeah, but
dynamic.
Still.
You're changing dynamic.
No, I'm not, because at UConn, his explosiveness, he was still Jordan-esque, not just a shooter. He was dunking on people.
We're not going to disagree with you.
The athleticism, he turned into a one-hit wonder in the NBA, if you ask me. After the Sonics and Bucks, he became a shooter, like a hired gun.
Right.
Before that, athlete, and that started at the University of Connecticut. All right, guys, let's get serious for a minute. Let's talk baseball managers. Lou Brown, Cleveland Indians, movie Major League. Buttermaker, Bad News Bears. Chico's bail bonds. Go.
Got to go with Lou Brown.
For me, it's pretty easy. It's Lou Brown only because you can't have Rudy Stein hitting behind Kelly Leak when you have Engelbert. Lou Brown.
Buttermaker won a lot with one pitcher, which was amazing. I think she pitched every game, right?
He got a lot out of a little. He did.
I mean, Leak was a stud.
No pitch counts.
But Lou, they were trying to take the team away from him. They were trying to move out of Cleveland. You can't move out of Cleveland. I mean, it's Cleveland. So, Lou,
Well, again,
if you've ever been to Cleveland, it's fun.
I win again.
Mosey knows.
It's definitely Buttermaker because whether they're wearing corduroys or denim pants, dungarees, we're having sliding practice, guys, first practice. Engelbert, hit the deck.
Tanner
Ahmed,
with the patches on his knee.
Miguel, both Miguel and his brother
Miguel
hit the
seemed
deck.
disinterested a lot of the time.
I don't know. I think Buttermaker got the most out of him. And as stated in the last scene, you could take your apology and put it somewhere. We'll be back next year.
Let them play.
That's
Let
what
them play.
Timmy Lupus said it. Don Father, let's talk fantasy football.
All right, thank you very much. So we're looking for redemption. We got a little redemption after week one. So that was nice. Again,
I'm still here, Don Father.
thank you, Loddy. You're the man. You're just a generous host. So again, a little redemption after week one, Loddy. Quarterbacks have been on point both weeks. This week I had 3 stardoms. Brady, Burrow, Goff all had great weeks. 2 sit-ems, Tannehill and Stafford, and they were both bad. Tannehill threw 2 touchdowns, but he had 120 yards. 14 points. That's not what you want from a fantasy quarterback. Stafford, no touchdowns. He's been terrible, and he's getting worse.
He's got to still be hurt, no?
They say about his elbow. I mean, the guy's throwing more to guys like Skoranek as he's throwing to Allen Robinson. I just don't understand the dynamic and why he's not. You can't throw to Cooper Kupp 35 times a game and expect to win, but that's what he's doing. Running backs was that was my weak point this week. It was my kryptonite. I said 3 guys to sit, and I think they all had career days. So I'm going to brush past those 3 and say I did say to start Nick Chubb, who was a beast as usual.
Every week, right?
And Jamal Williams.
Put it in the bank.
And we talked about an interesting fact about Nick Chubb, Loddy. He's 5.7 yards per carry this year, leading the NFL, which gives him just over 5.3 for his career. I'm going to ask you a question. You may know the answer now. You may not. Who is the all-time leader in yards per carry in the NFL?
He's getting 5.3 for his career?
Nick Chubb, 5.3 for the career.
Wow. And he's never been the kind of back that gets 25, 30 carries because of
It's got to be Dorsett or Smith or Marion Barber or Julius Jones.
I'm going to throw a name from the past.
Calvin Hill.
He didn't play very long. Priest Holmes.
Same team, really close. Jamal Charles. Fantasy stud. We all had him on our team. We all won when we
Then
did.
he got hurt, right?
Guys, hold up. Between the Priest Holmes, Jamal Charles era, I think he's between them. I don't want to give you the initials, but who was the Chiefs running back who was a stud between those two?
Not Christian Okoye?
That was before.
He's
that.
before them.
I'll give you the initials. LJ.
Larry Johnson.
Remember
From
him, dude?
Penn State.
It was 2 years. Might be wrong. On
You
the
don't
years.
know. That's a good call.
I think I asked this question when Mac was not here in the room before, so Bobby, I'll ask you. You might have heard it already. Who is the only team in the NFL without a 300-yard game this year? Offense, total yardage in one game. They don't have 300 yards in any one game this year.
I mean, you want to think the Jets. You want to think maybe the Titans. Who you got?
Carolina Panthers.
Bake.
Oddly
Bake.
enough, they have a third
Stay hot,
best.
Bake.
Loddy, how'd you like that draft?
That was a tough night.
And oddly enough, they have the third highest ranked offensive line in the NFL. So that's just crazy. Bake's not even getting pressured. He's just getting, what do you have, 4 balls batted down on Sunday?
4, that's it.
4 balls in one game. It's just awful. All right, moving on. Another little note to, again, guys, injuries are everywhere right now. Jonathan Taylor is not playing tomorrow night. Naheem Himes is going to get the start. We all saw, me and Bobby were painful over it. Cordell Patterson, he's got placed on the IR. Minimum 4 games, and he's going to be out minimum. They were worried about his knee, worried about him coming from, receiver to running back, so he's not going to be playing for a minimum of 4 weeks. We got Algiers going to take a lot of those carries. Got a couple of little nuggets that I can't throw out here because I'm in leagues with a lot of guys that listen to this game about everything. Another fact about Jonathan Taylor, the other day he missed practice. First missed practice since he's been 8th grade. Never missed a high school practice. Never missed a college practice.
Badgers.
Never missed a practice since he's been in Indy. Never missed a practice since 8th grade. But again, he's out tomorrow night. Pay attention to the injury report. Wednesday's a big day. Who practices, who doesn't. A lot of guys on my team, I'm getting questionable, so pay attention to that. Another little note following up on last week. Justin Fields finally completed more than 10 passes in a game. They lost. They played against the Daniel Jones-led Giants, who completed 8 passes, Bobby. They won. Go figure. I mean, it's just
Wasn't Saquon warming up to be QB?
Saquon is unbelievable, and he's going to run roughshod in London all over Big Ben, and he's going to get some yards against the Packers this week. One other last note about last week, the New York Jets. I mean, they're 2-2. It's unbelievable. They're better than we thought. Are they great? No. They make the playoffs? No. But they were down by 10 points to Pittsburgh and came back, in the fourth quarter. And years past, it would have folded. Last year, they would have given up, packed it in, lost by 30, kind of positioned for that number 1 draft pick. But somehow Zach Wilson and his super hot mom were able to mount a comeback. I said mount. He caught a touchdown, threw for touchdown. I mean, he may be the real deal right now. Who knows? He's got a lot of guys banged up, but he's got some good receivers. Garrett Wilson's going to be a stud. He's got some good young running backs. The line is a little dinged up. They're going to get healthy. So keep an eye on the Jets. They're going to fight. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games.
Jets, Jets.
But they will fight. Last note, Detroit Lions. I said play everybody you have in that game last week. There was it 41-38? I mean, it's unbelievable. Everybody had a huge game. Hawk was the best
was crazy.
tight end performance of the year. As you
Better
see, I'll
than
be getting that $25 from your league for being a high scorer this week. Sorry, Slow Joe. But Detroit, first in yardage, last in yards allowed. That's pretty rare to happen in the NFL. I kind of spit out some stats before. I'm going to pivot a little bit and ask another trivia question before I move on. Who was the last team to be number 1 in both offense and defense in the NFL?
Well,
Cowboys.
Couldn't be the Browns or the Eagles because their offenses are never that good.
How about the Cowboys with Aikman and Emmett, that team?
No, it would actually be the 2010 Chargers. It might have been them, but this is the last team. It was 2010 Chargers.
Gotcha.
But Philip Rivers led Chargers. They have Vincent Jackson, Junior Seau. By the way, they did not make the playoffs that year. I found that unbelievable when I was hearing that stat. They did not make the playoffs.
Who's the lineman they had?
Missed it by 1 game.
AFC
With
West,
Seau.
always tough.
Was Seymour there? Was Richards? Who was? They had a lineman that was
I
dominant.
think Seymour went to Oakland after New England.
Might be right.
When talking about the how teams are ranked, so right now there's 2 teams in the NFL that are ranked in the top 3 in offense and defense. Who are they? 2 teams, top 3 offense and defense.
Eagles.
The Eagles are number 2 in offense and number 3 in defense.
Baltimore?
No,
Their defense is a dumpster fire.
Defense stinks.
Buffalo.
Ding, ding, ding. Angry Jay. Not so angry right now, are you? Buffalo, 3 in offense and 1 in defense. A lot of people think it might be flipped. Their defense is legit. They're offering nothing as far as quarterback rankings. They're annihilating the other team's quarterback. So that was it, Bob, from last week. Strategy this week, folks. Just watch the weather. Buffalo, Baltimore, crazy weather. It was bad. Another game in London, 9:30. Giants, Packers. Giants will probably be in first place after Philly blows a game to Arizona. They shouldn't. Giants are going to run roughshod over the Packers. Just kidding. If I had to bet, I would not bet on the Giants. But Giants have nobody on their team playing other than Saquon. Daniel Jones might not play. Tyrod Taylor is not playing. They're bringing in guys like A.J. McCarron and Jake Fromm to try out for them this week. Giants are in a lot of trouble against the Packers team. Is probably feeling pretty good about themselves. They played bad, and they still beat the Patriots. And they're going against a team right now who has literally nobody to throw to and nobody who's going to throw. So Saquon can't do everything. We want to go into our picks of the week, Bob, since we got all 4 of us here. Since I have the mic in my hand, should I start?
Yeah, what do you got down, Father? Lead us off.
Well, pick's sure to go wrong. I am going to go with the Buccaneers giving 8.5 to the Falcons. People might be surprised. Hey, the Falcons, they're 4-0 against the spread this year. They just beat the Browns. That was a fake win, by the way. Browns didn't have their entire defensive line. Falcons managed to still just squeak out a win at the end of the game. Buccaneers got mauled on national TV against the Chiefs. Buccaneers are going to be a little angry. They're playing at home. Tom Brady's going to be extremely, extremely focused. What does he have to worry about? He's got no wife at home anymore. He's got nothing going on but football.
Let's leave the family element out of it.
So he's going to be focused on the game. They're going to cover 8.5 points as a spread. I think the Bucs are going to absolutely roll the Falcons. Who are we moving to next?
All right, let's not be A.J. Brown here, or Antonio Brown, I love A.J. Brown. Let's not be Antonio Brown showing a classless tweet or Instagram or whatever he did. I was wrong last week. I said there would be no undefeated teams after this week, and I'm wrong. The Eagles are still standing. although it did get close at the end. I got to say, I love the Chargers this week. I like the Lightning Bolts against the Brownies. The Brownies are not as bad as people may think. I actually think they're decent, but I'm in love with the quarterback for the Chargers and the weapons he has. When Eckler is Eckler, he's Alexander the Great.
Oh, hold on. Aaron Judge is coming up. Oh, no, forget it. He already hit it. Thank freaking God. All right, moving on.
Don Father's a Red Sox fan, so here we go with the sicko signs. So
I'm sorry, Bobby. My son was asking me the other day. He heard our podcast. He listens to it, so do all his friends. He goes, "What's so special about the Yankees?" He goes, "I'm 12 years old. I've never even seen them win the World Series." He's like, "The Red Sox won too, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." Just throwing that out there. So.
You might not be invited back next week.
Here we go. Don Father's saying, don't start Mark Andrews. The Chargers defense won't be scored upon, and the Red Sox are better than the Yankees.
We got some fodder on you already.
I had to shift the lines to my side. I had to shift all the betting lines to my side.
Speaking of lines, I got the Chargers giving 2.5 to the Browns. The Browns can't do it out there. They can't go to the West Coast and compete with that kind of juggernaut. I don't care who's playing or who's not. You throw it up to Mikey Williams. He's Randy Moss's 2.0. Actually, just because of the quarterback is special. And he may be the closest thing to a Brady we've seen in a long time. And he's huge. So I take the Chargers.
I'm going to make our friend Steve Beecher very, very happy. Going Packers, giving 8 against the Giants. I like these alternative sites in early games. The 9:30 a.m. spot in London. Pack is ready to bust loose. They only got 75 points in 4 games. They used to do that in 2 games. Tell me Rodgers doesn't miss Devontae Adams, but he's got to get on the same page with Dobbs, Lazard, Cobb, and company. And I think this is the week. The Don Father already alluded to all the Giant injuries. I just don't think they put up enough points. I think the Pack does just enough to win by 8 or more. So let's go to Pack to make me 2-0 so far. Jay?
So you guys took one of the games I was going to take, but I will go Seattle, New Orleans. The line is Seattle getting 5.5. I'm going to go New Orleans at home. I know they're 1-3. They've lost a couple close, tough games. Lost in London last week at the buzzer. You guys see that double doink on the field goal attempt?
Yep.
I don't know if Winston's coming back or not, but I believe Kamara is. I think the Saints, they need it. They have a pretty good defense. I'm not sold on Seattle. I just Saints in desperate need to stay into this thing early, being 1-3. I'm leaning Saints. I'll give the 5.5. I think they win this game rather easily at home and go to 2-3. So my pick, Saints minus 5.5 versus Seattle.
Well, I'll be right back in the race this week after these picks. Everybody, thanks for joining. We're getting some momentum here. We got the Twitter account up and running. Logo on the way. We'll be in studio soon. We'll have some guests. College football expert. College basketball expert. They're all on the way.
Great time of year.
The pod squad is really assembling. And you know what else is assembling? The Yankee playoff run. We're getting ready. We're gassing it up. We're getting the carts and the oxen ready.
Get the smoker
We're
ready.
surging forward. The Don Father is disgusted here listening to this. But that's what they do. They act like baseball doesn't happen unless they're winning. What a bunch of annoying fans. All right, everybody. It's been a great October 5th. Yanks, we're ready. I think it's going to be the Guardians. We'll be here. You're going to hear from us before that with whatever they do with the roster. Thanks for listening. You guys have done have listened every week so far. Awesome. Subscribe on YouTube. SAC Sports Network. What you want to type in is Loddy and Mac Sports. We're talking sports from the cul-de-sac, from the SAC. Spread the word. We need subscribers. Get on Twitter. Loddy and Mac Sports. Get on there. The Don Fathers, Stardom Situm, is on there now. You're going to need it for tomorrow. The NFL week kicks off on Thursdays, remember. Tell your friends. Tweet it out. Follow us. Get on there. And most importantly,
Let's go
because
Yanks.
It's the month of October.
Let's go Yanks.
Go Yanks.
Yanks.
Let's go.